More than that, more than that.
Welcome to More Than a Dad podcast. I'm your host, Lou Mobley. I'm joined by the coolest guy on earth, Dre Moore.
What's good?
Oh my God, we got like the most anticipated episode. I've been cooking this for weeks, man, trying to assure that I got her here in the building. Shonda, what's up?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Happy to be here.
Oh man, we always start off, how's mom life?
It's a struggle, an everyday struggle. For the most part, my story is a little different. So the things that I struggle with, a lot of people may not struggle with at the time, and they might not be familiar with it. But for the most part, I love it. I have 3 children, but I'm in the process of, recreating bonds and solidifying my position in their lives again. So,
No, let's talk about it, man. How old were you when you had your first?
I had my first kid at 17. My oldest daughter, Paris, she's 10. And then by the time I turned 18, I had 2 children, which was my daughter. I had my daughter, Peyton. And while going through the things that I just went through and went away for, I ended up finding out while I was incarcerated. I was pregnant with my 3rd kid, which was my son. He's 5. So, yeah.
How much of being a mom is a part of like your happiness and like your personality?
It's my lifestyle, honestly. I don't make no decision based off myself. It's solely usually off the best interest of my children. But it's a lifestyle. It's my everyday life. Everything I do determines their future. The decisions I make today, I gotta be able to live with tomorrow. And they have to benefit my children in a way, some way, shape, or form, whether it is financially, emotionally, mentally, but every day.
So I'm gonna be honest, everybody. I got an agenda here today, man. I got an
What's
agenda,
your agenda,
and
Lou?
I don't have too much small talking and prancing around today.
Yeah.
I wanna get into it. So I feel like as a young lady from the city, the situations you have found yourself into, I think you can shed a lot of light on.
Yeah, most definitely.
So just talk about you mentioned you was incarcerated, but let's tell that whole story. Let's talk about from the guy you were dealing with to how the case came about, and let's just get into some of them details.
Okay. So, back in May 2016, I was in a relationship. The relationship that I was in, it was on and off for quite some time. I finally made it, my home, right? When I met him, I was going through a real horrid time in my life. Not just being a mom or, none of that everyday stuff. It was more so I was going through a lot of childhood trauma, still dealing with it at the age of 16, 17. And, still today I'm 28 years old and I'm dealing with it. But at that time in my life, when I met my son's father, we bonded solely off trauma. And a lot of people don't understand what I mean when I say that. But I know that we didn't build what we built because we loved one another. Yes, we had love for one another, but honestly, we really didn't know what love was. You understand what I'm saying? Because now that I'm 28 years old and I know what love is now, and I know, okay, it was, a little fling. I was young. It was what it was, right? But we based solely off trauma, and their relationship became toxic towards the end. I loved it there. You know what I mean? I did. But of course, like I said, everything that starts off good doesn't always end that way. But when we got together, like I said to you, he was like the knight in shining armor for me. You get what I'm saying? I had 2 kids already. They wasn't his. He was willing to take care of them. He was willing to have a family with me, all that kind of stuff. So that was the kind of things, as a young girl, you hype about. Oh, I found me somebody that, going to take care of my kids, love my kids like theirs. You know what I mean? He gave me kind of like their stability, their comfortability I always yearned for as a kid. My inner child always wanted to feel safe. You know what I mean? So he provided me with it. So the things that he came with for a while, I accepted to a certain extent. Um, Eventually, he became physical. Just always would be like irate, angry. Don't really know why. You know what I mean? But this what I was dealing with. When he became abusive and stuff like that, that's when things took a turn for the worst in my life. And I say that to say because at that time, once these people had ran into my house to lock us up, I was broken. You know what I mean? And I say that to say, I just wasn't myself. He broke me down and built me up into whatever he wanted me to be. So that woman that I was at 21 years old, getting incarcerated, I was lost, scared, really couldn't see past go. You know what I mean? Everybody in that situation with me, my loved ones is telling me, open your eyes, he playing you. Like, do what you gotta do so you can come home and, be with your kids and all of that. And I can honestly say, at that point in my life, I love this boy so much that the lady that birthed me was telling me right from wrong, and I chose the wrong route. You understand what I'm saying? But when they came and locked us up in 2016, when I went down to the police station after they locked us up, keep in mind, my children is in the house sleep. It's 4 a.m. My kids were sleeping in my room. The door come down. Both of my kids jump up on top of me. My one daughter, she pee on herself. My oldest daughter, I feel her pee going down my leg. My other daughter holding on to me. Cop coming to my house and tell me, you got an hour to find somebody to come and get your children or we're going to call DHS. So in that moment, I was like so shocked, right? Because in my head, I know that I'm dealing with somebody that's in the streets a little bit. I know what it come with. You get what I'm saying? In my mind, I know what I signed up for. But let's keep in mind, though, I really didn't think these people was coming for me. You understand what I'm saying? So when they came into my house, he tells me, call a lawyer, yada, yada, yada. The guy come over and say to me, LaShonda, yeah, we got a body warrant for you, too. Keep in mind, I don't know what no body warrant is. And all. So I'm like, a body warrant? I'm like, well, what do they want with me? So they take me down there to 21st and Hamilton. I'll never forget, I had 27 charges to my name. 21 years old. I was incarcerated as a juvenile. Never really been through nothing adult-like. You get what I'm saying? When it came to the system. But, yeah, I had 27 charges against me. The first time I seen a judge, they read all my charges off to me. I had burglary, robbery, intimidating a witness, a gun, every charge you can imagine, right? Eventually, as time go on, you know how that go to the preliminary, all that kind of stuff. Of course, they drop some of the charges, but more of the story is I was charged with 27 charges with somebody that I truly love, somebody that I truly adored. He let me down. You understand what I'm saying? I got into a situation where I thought he always saved me. He always got me. He the knight in shining armor, right? But when it time came about, the state divided us and he allowed it to. And I say that to say, because still to this day, there will never ever be anything between us, unless it's basically solely and strictly about my son. But I say that to say that right now, today, I'm reminded on a day-to-day basis of the things that he put me through, and not just the physical abuse, not none of that. I'm talking about my life, my livelihood. My background is messed up. You know what I mean? I was put in a situation where, of course, the system, they scared me. They scared me into pleading, taking a open plea. Keep in mind, my son, 13 days old, just had him. I got a daughter that's 2 and 3 years old. My main focus is to come back home to my children. You know what I mean? They played me, though. The state played me. Basically scared me into taking the open plea. I took the open plea, and I got 8 charges on my record, 8 felonies. Robbery, burglary, intimidating a witness, and it was criminal conspiracy, a gun. Like, I got things that I'm walking around on my jacket that I literally could sit here and tell you I really didn't have no parts in it, but I was scared. And when I say scared, it wasn't just like it's a monster and I'm scared. Right. It's one of them scares like you feel it in your bones scared. You understand me? Like you uneasy, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't think. You know what I mean? When I got incarcerated, I never thought that I was pregnant. I swear to you, it was so crazy. I never thought I was pregnant. I seen a doctor at the 8th and Race. That's the roundhouse. I seen a doctor. When I seen the doctor, she passed me an orange juice and what else was it? An orange juice and like a peanut butter and jelly. But keep in mind, everybody else got a water and like a cold cheese sandwich. You feel me? So I'm like looking around. I'm paying attention a little bit. So I'm like, why I got this stuff and nobody else do? The lady come back and tell me you're pregnant. So my first phone call home to my mother was, I seen a judge. I have no bail, and I'm pregnant. I got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old home that my mom and my grandmother just had to come in my house to pick up at 4 a.m. So my mom is like, what is going on? But keep in mind, me, I'm in it, right? I'm being charged with all these charges, but I don't even really know. Still to this day, there's things that was brought up in my case that I really can't even. I can't tell you if it's dead or not, because keep in mind when we got locked up, me and him was divided from day one, separated. You understand what I'm saying? So the little bit of times that I did get to talk to him, he was real fast, brushing me off a little bit. You know what I mean? Not really taking it serious, because in God's mind, I'm a man. I could do the time. You get what I'm saying? And that was all fine with me, but now you got me caught up in some things that I can't get out of. You got my children, going to sleep without their mom. They 2 and 3 years old. They don't understand what's going on. They coming into a courtroom. My great grandma, my whole family, right? When I got incarcerated, I never forget. Matter of fact, when I was at court, I never forget. A supervisor came from one of the jobs I worked at, and she was talking to, she had talked for me, got up there, talked to the judge and stuff like that. Of course, my family got to talking, all that kind of stuff. But keep in mind, this is just the beginning here. You understand what I'm saying? So I went to court, back and forth, back and forth. January rolled around 2017. I went to court January 6th. January 6th was the big day now. Either I'm going to take this open plea or I'm going to trial. Now, keep in mind, the victim of my case or whatever, I'm not supposed to have no contact with or none of that. I could speak upon them as long as, But the victim of my case was tied into with my baby father. They had something going on, you know what I mean? The way that he even carried the case was out of line. You feel me? He threw me to some sharks and knew I wasn't built for that. I ain't put myself in that situation. Why you do that to me? You feel me? But this is the kind of, these are the kind of men that's growing up in my generation. You understand what I'm saying? Because these same boys that put me in this situation will be out, they out here being, they are men. They're supposed to be men. You understand what I'm saying? The reason that I like to tell my story and get it out there is because I feel like we don't know who gonna run across anybody that's tied to anybody with them. You understand what I'm saying? We don't know who might sleep with a guy today and they might have a relationship, and then a year later she put in the same situation and really don't know what to think of it. She might hear my story and know how to see the signs. You understand what I'm saying? The early signs and stuff like that. But the situation that I was put in was very, very unfortunate, and one of the worst times of my life. Could you imagine? Let me just ask y'all this, and your fathers, but can you imagine having a kid? You know how much y'all love your kids as fathers, right? Could you imagine looking at your wife and knowing that your wife had your last baby and she was in prison, but she was in prison because of your doing, and you get what I'm saying? So
Can't imagine that.
I don't look for pity, I don't look for people to understand me. I tell my story because I find strength every time I tell it. It's like I'm building myself back up to be who I need to be. You understand what I'm saying? So much was taken from me. I was robbed from so much. So anyway, let's get back to that.
I think a thing we have to clear up is like you really not guilty of.
And that's my thing. And let me just say this real quick. I literally be looking on no gun zone, stuff like that, right, every day. Keep in mind, 80% of them probably did do it, right? But then you got that 20 that really didn't have nothing to do with nothing. Could have just been wrong place, wrong time. Might have not really did nothing though. Could have just, you understand? I've met so many people, yo, I swear to you, before I got incarcerated and ever, dealt with that side of life, if a person came to me that was charged with murder and said they didn't murder somebody, I would be like, what? You locked up. Sure, you did it. You give them. But then I meet people that literally have life sentences that's never coming home. They got caught up with a guy. He might be home or he might be locked up too. But she got kids. She got grandkids. She's never going to see the outside again, all because she loves somebody a little bit more than herself. You get what I'm saying? Or just was put in a situation that was unfortunate. Because I'm going to be honest with you. No, I'm not a guy. No, I'm not in the streets. I wasn't raised in the streets. You get what I'm saying? But it was certain principles and morals that I had to stand on to protect my kids' peace. You understand what I'm saying? It was certain things I wasn't willing to say or do because I know how the system is. They wicked. You understand what I'm saying? You asking me to tell you X, Y, and Z, right? But if I tell you X, Y, and Z, are you going to protect me and my offspring? Because I know for a fact that this going to come with a price. And I don't know if I could pay that price. You understand what I'm saying? So my biggest thing is I try to tell people all the time, pay attention, because when you get in these situations, I'm being honest with you, it's like no way out. That's how I felt. It's like no way out. I got DAs, I got a lawyer, all types of people that I'm having conversations with that I don't usually have conversations on a day-to-day basis with. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm being questioned. I done sat in the interrogation room for 7-8 hours. You know, they done wore down my mental now. You get what I'm saying? I'm telling them I'm pregnant. I'm throwing up in the room. I need water. You get what I'm saying? Y'all had me in here since 4 in the morning. It's now it's dark outside. You get what I'm saying? And y'all not giving me no water. Y'all not even attentive to the fact that I'm dry, heaving, and under. I should have been at the hospital. But instead, they wanted what they wanted from me. And they tried everything they could for me to tell them something that I did not know. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the way that I was treated in that situation, it was all the way around the board just horrible. Could you imagine somebody I love dearly? We locked up and not you are not clearing my name. You understand what I'm saying? You're not helping me in no way, shape, or form. You allowing the state to destroy my character and paint a false narrative of me just so they can have a case. But meanwhile, you know you guilty. And you never say nothing. Then you go to trial and you never tell me go to trial with you, but you talk me into taking an open plea. The same that the system was doing to me. So I was all the way around the board. But listen to this. Literally, I'll say maybe 2 months ago, I reached out to my son's father, you know, for some clarity, for some honesty, because something tells me go and look up his charges. He got 3 felonies on his jacket. I got 8. I didn't do anything. How? Wow. Listen, I was sentenced to a 4 to 10 year sentence. I served 5. He was sentenced to a 7 to 14. You understand what I'm saying? Let's keep in mind though, it was children out here, motherless, parentless. My son you understand? My son 5 years old. He never seen this man a day in his life. You see what I'm saying? How the decisions and the situations, and you see how all of that is like a domino effect. Because granted, I'm done my time, but it's still affecting my everyday life, and it's affecting my children's life also. Right. Because at the end of the day, when I got incarcerated, let's keep in mind, my mother had to step up and get all 3 of my children. So my kids didn't be in a different household and they had this dead house and this dead house. You understand what I'm saying? And then, you know, my biggest thing was I'm not really trying to come home after doing all that time and have to fight up against nobody because they trying to keep my kid from me, you know? So my mom was next to kin, the best next thing. But let's keep in mind, when my mom had my kids for 5 years, my mom barely heard from fathers. You understand me? She barely heard from fathers. Barely playing their parts and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? And I'm happy personally for the things that I've been through. I'm happy that I took that trip up there. You know what I mean? And I went through the things I went through because not saying like I didn't love my kids, but the way that I love them now, the work I'm willing to put in right now, like I'm too passionate. You understand what I'm saying? And I never had this in me, the drive that I had in me. I barely sleep, Lou. I'm at work every day grinding. You understand what I'm saying? But then I might walk past somebody that never got in trouble in their life, name is good, could do anything in life, and they don't want to. You understand what I'm saying? Wow. So, me personally, I count everything. You know, I count things as a blessing. The things that isn't, it is what it is. I take it for what it is. I charge it to my head, not my heart. You know what I mean? But like I said to you, the pain that I've endured, the things that I've went through over the years, like I don't even look like it, thank God. You get what I'm saying? But inside, I'm a little messed up. You know what I mean? Let me tell you this too. So when I was growing up or whatever, right? I never was a kid that had nightmares. I never was scared of really scary movies, none of that kind of stuff. When I got incarcerated and I had my son, I went through one of the worst times in my life. I went through postpartum, and on top of postpartum, I started experiencing nightmares. I have nightmares to this day. And my nightmares consist of my son in a body of water, and I can't save him. And every time I go to save him, but right before he go under the water, somebody else come and save him. So let me tell you how mature I've become, right? And just how better I became with managing my emotions. Instead of me getting up crying about these nightmares now, right? I look at it and say, you know what? I get the good from it. I take the good from it, right? I talk to myself, calm down. Look at it like this. Your son in a body of water, right? And it might seem crazy, but this is how I got through my 5-year sentence and being able to sleep. This is the way I had to get back to sleep. Calm down. In my head, I had to program my body and program my mind to believe that the person that grabbed my son was my mom. All right. And I look at it like, this was God's way of showing you that it could be so much worse. So every time my son getting ready to go in that water, somebody grabs him. And I feel like that was God trying to show me, like, it's not over. It's okay. Get through your time. Do what you got to do, because no matter what, I'm going to make sure somebody watch out for these kids. You understand what I'm saying? So I was able to sleep good when I came to grips with it. I literally had to really talk myself into believing it because I was losing my mind. He crying in my head. I can't, you get, like, I'm losing my mind, and people won't even believe this. People could look at me right now and probably think I'm lying. I was suicidal at one point in my time and doing my bid.
Right.
After I had my kid, you know what I mean? I really was suicidal. That door closed on me and it locked. After I just had a baby, I still feel him inside of me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm still getting flutters in my stomach. And this door just locked on me, and it's closed, it's done. I can't go out here and call my son when I want to, none of that. I can't even stomach the conversations because when I'm on the phone, I hear him crying. Now I'm broken down. I can't even deal with my other two children. So, you know, like, I tell people all the time, I don't make the decision of not dealing with my son's father because of no other reason. I'm not bitter. I don't want him. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I forgave him for myself. That's how I'm able to flourish and bloom and blossom. You get what I'm saying? I forgave him, but there's certain things that would never ever leave my mind, that has been etched in my mind, has been etched in my heart. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. There's pain that I will never be able to forget. I don't care how hard I work on my trauma. There's pain that I will always revisit. And I can never look at him and feel nothing. And I have a kid by him. I love my son dearly. I tell people all the time, I love my daughters, right? But my son, it's a different kind of love. And I say that to say because my son, I found out about him at one of the most traumatizing times of my life, one of the lowest times of my life. And for, I'll say about 6-7 months, my son, he held me down. He was inside of me. But that little just him moving, that little kick, I was able to get up and do what I needed to do for myself and understand it's not, stop asking God, why, because that was my biggest thing. God, why me? That's all I kept asking. Why? Like, why is God doing this to me? But when I started to change my questions, I started to get different results. I stopped asking him why. And I started asking him, can you just help me get through this? I don't know why you putting me through it, but could you help me get through it? Because I don't think I can, But it was times I would call home, y'all, and would want to tell people so bad what I'm going through, but I was so scared that nobody wouldn't understand me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't call home like, oh yeah, I'm feeling suicidal. That's nothing that you speak on no jail phone. You're not speaking it around nobody around you, because now you're a weak link.
Right. Now, I wanted to ask you, what I think you told me, like, what was the first thing that they said to you when you got to prison?
Or when I got to the county, or just on my state, right? Upstate?
Yeah.
All right, so when I first got upstate, they bring us in this little van, They got us in a bullpen, and they calling everybody. So I'm waiting for my turn. They finally call me. I go to talk to the guy, and he didn't ask me my name, nothing. He looked at the state number. He said, okay, this is your state number. Now, where would you like your body to, no, he said, where would you like your body to be shipped if you don't make it out of this prison? Like, who do you want your body to go to? Not what's your name. Right. Not what jail did you just come, none of that. This your state number, and where you want your body to be shipped if something happened to you here.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I'm like, now at that point, I'm like, all right, hold up. Like, I done seen, like, locked up roll. You feel me? Right. I done seen this kind of stuff. So, when now I done did the little county bid, now I'm about to go up top. But before I get up top, keep in mind, like, yeah, I done rumped a little bit in the county. I done held it down. But now it's like, all right, this upstate, I don't know about all this. But when he asked me that, now I'm uneasy. In case my body don't make it out of here, well, what is going on this in this jail that, like, you feel me? But that was the first question he asked me. And that's at that moment, reality set in for me. And that question alone is kind of one of the reasons that I really had to let myself understand, like, you got to make it out of here, right? But I got to make it out of here with my sanity, my dignity. You understand what I'm saying? Because it ain't really about no respect and none of it. Because not being funny, like, they don't really be on it. You get what I'm saying? You got some up there that be running around like they looking for respect. But I wasn't really on it. You get what I'm saying? It was more so my dignity, my sanity, making sure I make it back to the kids, all of that. But, it was a lot of unfortunate situations up there. I had girlfriends up there, you know what I mean? So that came with a lot of drama. You feel me?
What you say?
So you was
Go ahead,
Hold
bro.
on. You was pregnant. How long was the case going on? So you had the
Or
baby before you went upstate.
yeah, I had the baby before I went upstate. But keep in mind though, the judge that I had, I'll never forget that lady, man. The judge, because she really, even though she gave me all that time and all, I know it might seem crazy, but she really was like a blessing too because she got an order signed where I ain't had to leave my baby right then and right after I had him. She let me stay in the county for a little bit before
Okay.
she sentenced me. So my case was really over in October. I had my son October 13th. My case would have been over, but they prolonged it, right?
Okay.
Because I just had the baby. So by the time she sentenced me again, she was sending me right up. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
they pushed my sentencing bit. So I was really supposed to be sentenced in October, but I got sentenced in January instead. And
Okay.
it helped me out too a lot because I was able to see the kids a little bit more, still see my son. You get what I'm saying? Because once I went upstate, I had to go up there, and of course you got to get clear to go into population and all that kind of stuff. Then I kept going back and forth to the hole and all of that,
No.
and quarantine. So by the time I seen my son again, he was like 9, 10 months. He was walking. He walked to me in a visit
Right.
the first time I
And
seen
where
him.
did they send you?
Muncie.
Okay.
Yep, I was
Uh,
at Muncie.
No. So you had the baby. Like, just describe that. Like, what
All
is it
right.
really like having a baby in jail?
All right.
Like, is
So
it is the doc? Do you think the doctors are at the same level as the doctors out here? Like,
no, well you have they took me to Hanneman before Hanneman closed.
okay,
But keep in mind though, when you go to these places and you're an inmate, 9 times out of 10, that's how they're going to treat you, like an inmate, regardless of what you look like. That's normally how they treat you. So keep in mind, when I had my two daughters, my midwife, she was at university. Well, when um RCF, that's Riverside up there
yeah.
at State Road. When they call university had explained to them they didn't take inmates. So they had came and told me like you can't go there, this and the third. So they ended up taking me to Hanneman. Now look, it's like 2 in the morning. Um, I start from now, mind you, I had parenting class earlier that day, right? Because I had parenting classes that was basically court ordered or whatever because of the charges I had. But I ended up beating the child endangerment charge because they gave me a child endangerment charge because when they came into my home, they found the gun inside of there, and then on top of all of it, the kids were sleeping in my room and the gun was up in the ceiling. Sorry, was up in the ceiling. Mind you, my kids were sleeping in that room.
right.
So they charged me with child endangerment and all of that. I beat those charges, but in the midst of all of that, I still had to do parenting classes. So I went to parenting classes this one day, and I was having all these pains, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna say nothing yet because I know how I go. They send you out and then bring you right back. You feel me? So I'm like, I'm gonna just wait it out. Probably like 2 in the morning, roll around, my shit still hurting. My stomach hurting bad, bad. Like now it's like taking my breath away. I done had kids, so I know like, all right, he really probably trying to come. Mind you, I'm in the cell by myself, but they had me on a pregnant block where like all pregnant women was there, and then like people that worked outside, so they was like low custody people on the block with us. You feel me? Um, so the jail ended up opening up. I ended up telling one of the COs that morning. I waited all that time. I was so scared though because I just kept seeing like this is not life. I'm not about to go into labor. My mom not gonna be there. Nobody like I just in my mind I just was wishing that I could just keep this baby inside me, push him back up me, and keep it pushing. You feel me? Cause I knew too, like once I had this baby, I'm really gonna be alone. You know what I mean? That was a scary
Right.
feeling. Like I had somebody. Like you get what I'm saying? It's crazy to say, but I always tell my son like he don't even know I really needed him more than he needed me, cause he came at a time where I really needed somebody the most, and he was inside of me.
Right.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So what better feeling was it? But yeah. So I had ended up telling the CO whatever. They send me up the medical. When they send me up the medical, the nurse there checks me out and she tell me, okay, you going out. I get the Hanneman. When I get the Hanneman, they treated me so bad. Okay, to the point where I came home trying to file a lawsuit. They treated me bad there. They allowed the officers to keep me handcuffed to my bed. You are not supposed to do that anymore. I was handcuffed to my bed.
Oh
Um,
man, labor.
yes, I was handcuffed to my bed.
Sheesh.
That's why I think that I had an epidural put into me. Keep in mind, the epidural was put into me, and the epidural medicine never made it in my body. It was dripping down my back into my buttocks area. Okay, but I think this is because I was cuffed to a bed.
Right. You can't even get it in. Right.
So I was cuffed to a bed. Keep that in mind. When I was having my son, it was two officers inside, a man and a woman. I did not know. I respected them, and I hope that they might even see the podcast. I respected them. They was really like the best people to me. They treated me like I was a human. They treated me like they would want somebody to treat their family. But it still was a messed
Two
up feeling. I
strangers.
don't
Right.
know them. They strangers. You feel me? And I'm bringing a life into the world with two COs at the end of my bed. Um, after I had my son, I was a handyman for 2 days before they told me that somebody had to come and get my son. They explained to you if you don't have nobody to come and get your child, of course, DHS will come and stuff like that. But I had explained to them that my mom was coming, so my mom and my sister had came. And they had brung my son clothes and stuff like that. But like I said to you, I spent 48 hours with my son, and then I went and did 5 years.
That's nuts.
My son 5 now. Um, I don't know, like it's crazy because my daughters they know me more than my son. You get what I'm saying? And it shows sometimes.
Yeah, because they had you
They
before.
seen you, right?
Yeah, so and it shows sometimes. I guess the worst feeling of all of that, being a mother while being incarcerated, is your kids becoming content without you, right? My kids solely survived off of me, my two daughters, you get what I'm saying? It was always just us. I was a young mom, but it was what it was. Life threw at me what it threw at me. I made it work, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
But it was always just us three, you get what I'm saying? And now I have a son, and I love my son dearly, but I feel bad for my son because my son was cheated out of a lot.
Out of your time, right?
Yeah, and
Right.
the things that me and his sister, because they 10 and 9, my two oldest, but the things that we could sit and talk about and laugh about. Some of the pictures I sent him from when before I got locked up. Every picture I had, we together, is me and him. Those kind of things I can't share with my son. And he too young to really understand, but he do know that I'm his mom. But my son became content without me. He still is to this day content without me. He it's okay though, because he young. You know what I mean? He a kid. But he loves my mom dearly, and I be happy that it's my mom. You get what I'm saying? Instead of somebody his father was dealing with, hypothetically speaking. You get what I'm saying? Or a
Right.
situation like that, right?
At least
Thank
it's
God it's the
somebody
next
close
of
to
kin,
you.
because as a woman, it's kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's hard to watch your kids, surviving off someone else, or
Right.
survive based off someone else's love and all that kind of stuff. So right now, that's like one of my biggest challenges. Like, I don't know, like it be days I might go to my mom's house to go see my son, and I might leave out the house and nobody knows, but I cry as soon as I hit the step.
Right.
Right.
And it doesn't come from my kids being mistreated or things not going to. No, it really just comes from I'm a mother and somebody I love cheated me out of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
My son 5, he don't know me like that. He know, like, yeah, they came to visit me. You get what I'm saying? But he know like mommy. You get what I'm saying? But he don't know me like my mom. You get what I'm saying? Like, if my mom was to walk away right now, my son would hurt more than if he never seen me again. And
Yeah.
he
Right, because he
5.
got that bond
Do
with
you
her.
get what I'm saying?
Right.
So they are the struggles that I have day to day. Not like, honestly, the whole, like me just having my background, like having when I used to have troubles getting jobs, all that kind of stuff, like that pain didn't even amount to that. You get what I'm saying? Like I rather have been out here jobless and my son love me to death and can't be without me
Right.
Right.
than me have. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 So
No, just
Hold on, bro. Before we leave that. So how difficult was it on the visits, like seeing them come, because visits gotta end.
visits was hard for me, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, visits was real hard for me. It was times I left for a visit and went to the hole. Um, and not because of no other reason other than the fact that I just couldn't stomach that.
Right.
Like that pain that came with that, just watching my kid. Like when it's time for them to leave, they crying, they holding on to me. You get what I'm saying? Like it just was it was crazy. Like I didn't have officers come to my door after visits. They might come in on another shift and they might hear what happened in the visitor room, and they come in my room like my cell and be like, damn, we heard what happened. You seen your kids. They like, we sorry that you gotta go through that. But they will always tell me like, there's not many women up here who kids react the way that your kids react. So still feel like you violent.
Right.
You understand me?
Yeah.
And it took for a person that wore a badge that supervised me and seen what I was going through firsthand to say that to me for me to understand it. Because up there in situations like that, when it comes to officers and inmates, it's not really it's not a good report with inmates and officers because I don't know. I be saying a lot of them probably got bullied when they was younger or something because they be like power tripping
Right.
and all that for the most part. But then you got some up there they racist. Try to break you down and use racial slurs and stuff like that. That's why I try to tell people all the time that Department of Corrections is really not a place to be. The correction part kills me. Like Department of Corrections, it kills me because I just told you I never was in the streets, right? I'm not a criminal or none of that. But guess what? When I got up there, I had to become criminal minded to survive.
Yeah.
And not just because of the officers, but I got to worry about the inmates, because you got to worry about the officers too. But you got to worry about the inmates too, your peers. You understand what I'm saying? But when you in a situation where you got to worry about your peers and your superior, that's
Right.
a
You
lot.
always on defense.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and I think that's why I'm so aggressive probably now. But because a lot up there, body language is a big thing. You get what I'm saying? This is how they pick out their weak body language. You might have some that might want to just have sex with you. You get what I'm saying? Might want to take it. It depends on the day and what you're going through, but you got to be willing and ready to
Deal with it.
stand through
Right.
all it. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I don't know, like I just come from a place where I just, my mind was always on survive, survive, survive. Still right now I'm not really at peace. You get what I'm saying? And I think it's gonna come when, I have that time to move into my own home. Like, I'm in the process of that. Like, just I guess when I have my children, when they, living back with me and we all one, like right now, my mom, she's very supportive. You get what I'm saying? The kids, my mom tell me, look, there's no rush, but things are changing now and I'm ready. You get what I'm saying? Like me personally, it was a lot to wake up 5 years without your kids. But to wake up out here
Uh-huh.
It's worse.
is worse. So no relationship can't bring me that peace, can't fill that void. You understand what I'm saying? No friendship, nothing. I'm only going to be at peace when things are back to how I know they're supposed to be. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. Like I really I can't even sit here and tell you, like people be like, you so strong, I don't really know how. You get what I'm saying?
Because it's not a choice.
Yeah, I guess it was more so like me just being, I didn't have a choice. I had to do what I had to do. But yeah, that's some of the worst like things I've been through, honestly. And that going to prison, having my son, all that is what that's really like my trauma. That's like it beats all the like childhood trauma and everything. Listen to me, I'm trying to tell you, like it beats all of it.
Talk to me a little bit about like the postpartum part and like you give birth, you go back. Do they send you to a special block?
Yeah. All right. So
do you have a cellmate?
or I'm about to tell you. So after I came back from Hanneman, they sent me to DC. Right? Y'all heard of DC? What DC is?
No.
It's another little prison that's on State Road. But if you ask anybody that been up State Road, like any, basically like God, excuse me, normally like guys would know about DC because that's where they house some of the guys at. But when you come back off a doctor's trip and you stay out, they send you to DC. Keep in mind, DC is very dirty. It's very dim. The lights are very dim.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? It looks spooky, like you know how the haunted house used to be there in South Philly.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it looked. Very dirty. The dust is this thick. They got me laying on something that's coming from the ground. It's the ground, but it's built up into a something you can sit on. But basically like a long enough for you to lay on. But this what they got me on when I come back. Keep in mind, it's real dark, it's gloomy. I'm looking around, it just look crazy. It's dirty as shit, it's loud as shit. So as soon as I get in, when I get into that part of the jail or whatever, they tell me, okay, you gonna be in this room. But keep in mind, I told you the room, the thing comes up from the ground. I'm in the room, I'm laying on that. It's nobody else in the room, just me. I just came from giving birth. My breasts are leaking nonstop because of course, I'm not gonna see my son for 5 years. I'm feeding my son this milk. He gonna have something in me that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I fed him some milk, you know what I mean, out of me, whatever. So now it's time for him to get fed again. He not around me though to get the milk out of me. So now my breasts are leaking. They brick hard. I barely can sleep because I gotta lay on my back. But then I'm on this hard, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? While I'm there, keep in mind, y'all, I'm crying so bad I can't sleep. I'm just up crying. It's so dark. It's so gloomy. You get what I'm saying? I had these people come and tell me, oh yeah, one of the officers, they gonna come and bring you some food. They got a guy all up in the room with me. You get what I'm saying? They got another inmate. He's a guy. They letting him come in there. I'm all messed up. I just had a baby. You feel me? I got stitches in me. My chest is leaking. My shirt barely on. My shit soaking wet. You feel me? They got a man coming in to give me my food. He an inmate. Like, it was a mess. So look, I stayed over there for a day. The doctor cleared me. I go back to population. When I go back to population, they put me back on a pregnant block. When I get down to the pregnant blocks, now I don't want to be down there. You feel me? I'm like, yeah, y'all could just move me because the way they was running things and all that, I'm trying to get the population and I'm done. Well, when I get on the block or whatever, it just so happened I come in from Juma and I'll never forget a little Rican little shorty. She punched me in my face as soon as I hit the block. Don't know, we're never been to jail, but that was my that was my welcome. You feel me? Get with it. That's how I took it. You get what I'm saying? I'm at the desk. I'm talking to the officer. I walk off. I feel somebody hit me in the back of my head. I turn around like, wait, in my back of my mind, I'm like, hold the fuck up. This must have been an accident. Somebody dropped something off the top tier or something.
Right.
This bitch ain't just, I got stitches in me. You ain't just hit me. She hit me. They talked about their fight probably for like a month in the county. I treated it like I was supposed to, but this was the kind of life that I was living now. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
There's no escaping. When you there, you there. You feel me? So in the county, I done met all kinds of people, but it wasn't as serious as upstate. So now keep in mind, the girl, she punched me, whatever, or cool, we rumble. They moved me off the block that night. They don't send us to the hole. The next morning, they come get us and take us to the hole. Don't y'all know that this girl had a max out date to leave? She leave, I'm still in the hole. She go home. I'm still in the hole for fighting her. They still making me do my time or whatever. After that, they send me to a block. Everything was cool, copacetic. I had a couple fights in the county or whatever, but it was more so just like everyday stuff that, the same stuff that chicks go through out here. Like, instead of it being about men, it's about bitches now. It's about women. You get what I'm saying? Like, the way that a chick might call a chick phone about, you get what I'm saying, her messing with her man or whatever the case may be, right? This was going on up there. You got people that have been locked in, living with somebody for 9-10 years. They calling each other, that's my wife. And really going push play about the person they dealing with up there. So it's really for real, for the game don't change. You understand what I'm saying? It's still really the same as it is on the streets, but it's just a different blueprint. You understand what I'm saying? A different way that things is being ran and stuff like that. But it's really like street life. And I feel bad if you ain't really got no heart and none of that, because you're not going to be able to survive.
Yeah,
you're going to become somebody that somebody taking something off of. They're going to be taking your commissary every week or hanging up phones in your ear. That's the type of shit they caddy, they woman. Hanging up phones while you're on the phone with your kids, stuff like that. Like, yeah, they get like that, but only if you allow them to. You understand what I'm saying? But hypothetically speaking, what about the chick that might get into the same situation and she ain't built like that? You get what I'm saying? Because I really wasn't built like that. I became built like that. Right. Because I was really like, got bullied, wore glasses. They called me Chicken Little. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't want no smoke. My little sister used to be punching on me because I used to have her out there. You get what I'm saying? So I never was like that. But when you get into those situations, you start to see. And to be honest with you, when I got locked up, I really felt free. Right. My body was in a prison, but my mind was free. Free from the things that I was going through in a relationship. Free from the everyday, struggles and stress of being a mom at a young age and trying to responsibilities, just living for these kids and never living for myself. When I got incarcerated, I just found out what my favorite color was. I was 21 years old when I got incarcerated. I didn't find out my favorite color was blue until I turned about 24. But this is the things that I did not pay attention to because I was so caught up in being a mother, living for everybody else and not myself. But now today is like, I think that I'm very opinionated and I voice my opinion and I tell my story every chance I get to tell my story and stuff like that. Because for a long time since I was a kid, they used to mute me. Right. You understand what I'm saying? My feelings was never valid because I didn't know how to identify my emotions, and because of the way that I expressed my feelings, they shunned me. They didn't want to hear me because it was, to them, it was disrespect. And the whole time it was really me, just a kid, trying to get you to listen and understand so you can know why I'm acting the way I'm acting or why I'm doing what I'm doing. So now today I'm 28 years old and it's not a person that's going to ask me my story and I'm a budge or I'm giving it to you because for so long, like I said to you, I didn't have a voice. In a relationship, I did not have a voice. You understand what I'm saying? Right. My feelings was not valid. My wants and needs was not prioritized. You understand what I'm saying? My well-being was not prioritized. Whereas now today, I'm 28 years old, and I be damned if you play with me. You got to come correct. Friend, brother, cousin, mother, whoever, you got to come correct if you want to deal with me.
No, describe like one of the worst altercations you've been in up there.
One of the worst altercations I've been in, I had to hit somebody with a lock.
A what?
With a lock. A padlock. Well, would you call it a padlock? I guess you would call it like a lock that you put on, like a
combination lock.
Combination lock that you would put on a locker. Long story short, whatever. I really did not want to be that person, though. I really did not want to take it that far. But like I said to you, once again, when you in those situations, sometimes that situation can become a jungle.
Right.
And you'll become now everybody's prey. And that's the situation Shorty had put me in. You know, she knew me, so her word was kind of law to people. But if you knew me, you knew what she was speaking on really wasn't that. So she was kind of putting a battery in other people back to do certain things to me and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to avoid it because I wanted to use that phone, call my kids, get my visits and all that. You feel me? But I was pushed to the limit. When I heard that it was multiple people trying to jump on me at one time, now I gotta, knock the head off the body. Everything else gonna fall.
Right.
You feel me? So we end up fighting, but I never went into that situation playing fair. I really felt no need to, because when somebody come to me about my well-being, we in prison, I look like something. Y'all running, ain't nobody cutting my face. You ain't doing that. I'm gonna have to die trying, like 50 Cent said. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I got to. You get what I'm saying? Look, and I'm just saying, you could be the scariest person, but you hear something like that. What I heard, you gotta do what you gotta do. So when I heard that it was multiple chicks wanting to see me and all that, I'm like, like I'm not walking around nowhere looking over my shoulder and all that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in the trenches, Greenwood. I grew up in South Philly. You get what I'm saying? But even back then when we was growing up, it wasn't as bad as it is today. You understand what I'm saying? So right. I wasn't raised looking over I'm not walking around this prison looking over my shoulder. You feel me? So we end up fighting. But keep in mind, before we fought, of course, I made it real clear to her that I had a lock. She chose to sit there. I did what I had to do. It was what it was. But to this day, I regret that situation. You get what I'm saying? Not because I regret what I did to her per se, but I regret that situation because I was in the process of changing and growing. You get what I'm saying? And that situation had kind of put a dent and hold on me coming home and stuff like that. When I seen Parole, of course, they brung it up. You get what I'm saying? It's like, how do you explain something like that when you pleaded out to violent charges? So now you still being violent. Right. Even though I didn't do these things, but this is the things that you get what I'm saying? Right. This is what I had to stand on. And still to this day, people think I'm crazy, but let me tell you this. This one I knew that me and my son's father was never going to be nothing again. When I seen Parole, when I got in there, there's no telling them, oh, no, I was scared, and that's why I said X, Y, Z. Oh, no, you got to come in there taking accountability. You got to have remorse. You got to do X, Y, and Z for these people to abide by. So the first time I went to go see him, I got a year hit. That's how I ended up doing the 5 because I had a 4 to 10. But when I went into there, that feeling of portraying to be something that I'm not didn't sit well with me, because I know I gotta tell you what I need to tell you because I have to get home to my kids. But at the same time, that feeling is an unforgettable feeling, and I can't. You understand what I'm saying? Because I had to basically admit that I did something that I did not do, because that was the only way that Parole would even consider you a candidate for parole. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know, like, that's a different feeling. I don't know if y'all can imagine that feeling, but can you imagine having to like really talk out something and say you did something and the whole time you really didn't? Like, granted, yeah, I kept it, like, I didn't know the dynamics of certain things, but of course I had to let them know, yes, I'm remorseful and stuff like that, but just that alone and saying why you're remorseful, like, it's crazy. I don't know though, y'all. It's deep.
No, you talked a little bit about the guards. Like, let's talk a little bit about the guards, the COs, and some of the wildest things you've seen between the COs and the inmates.
The inmates having sex with the guards. The guards having sex with the inmates, whatever way you want to put it. You don't have too many women that mess with the woman, but you do. You get what I'm saying? Like, you might be, like, just hypothetically speaking, you coming to see me, right? Y'all coming to see me. Y'all walking up the walk. Just hypothetically speaking, y'all get into the visiting room and y'all like, damn, who was the lady girl out there? She nice. I'm probably going to tell you, like, oh, yeah, she's screwing a worker right there that's cleaning the floor. That's who she is. Like, you get what I'm saying? Because that's how it was. Like, I didn't see guards come and knock on people's cell doors. Like, acknowledging them as inmate. You get what I'm saying? Approaching them as inmate such and such, but asking about their husband.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they do a little bit of everything. Like, nothing is, let me say something. In the state penitentiary, ain't nothing off limits. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you'll really see these people. I'm talking about they having sex with the officers for like coffee picks and all that. I can't respect it, but I'm just saying like that's what they was doing. One,
No.
like some of them got pregnant. Some of them right now got babies to this day, and they was willing to lose their jobs behind it, get charged for it and all that, but still live their life with they chicks they found in prison.
Talk about like the craziest celly you had.
I don't, I don't know. Like I had crazy cellies, y'all, but ain't nobody really like. I don't know. Like I'm
No.
not trying to make it like you get what
No.
I'm saying. Like I was on
No,
some big dog, but
not like on that. Like
No,
on
no.
they
some-
ain't really put me in them kind of situations too much, like the office, because you know they control that, like the unit manager stuff like that, right? So like because I was there so long, I came in young. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of them kind of took a liking to me, wanted best for me. So it'd be certain situations where they might see a move sheet and it might say this person going in with me, but they might go in there and do something different because they like, they ain't gonna work. But I'm gonna tell you something. It was one girl that was my cellie. I'll never forget. I think she stole some food or something. She stole something from me, y'all. I can't remember, but something out of commissary. She stole something from me. Long story short, we get into a real bad. We in the room arguing back and forth. But mind you, like I was just really like, popping my mess. She popping hers big, whatever. But I'm saying what I gotta say. Now it's a box inside of the cells where the officers can listen into your room, and you can. And sometimes you won't know unless you really like been here for a minute. You know the officers on the joint. So then I get the pad, a sanitary napkin, and I take the plastic off of it, put it up on the speaker, because now that's going to drain it out. They can't hear us. So I cover it up because she keep going because I'm trying to tell her like, shut up, they listening. You feel me? So I drain it out or whatever. And at first she acted like she wanted to fight me in the cell, which was cool with me. I was gonna go ahead, cover the door up, and we was gonna fight because I'm just being honest, y'all. In situations like that, you can't tell nobody you don't want to fight them because they gonna keep like them.
Because you're locked in a cell.
You
Right,
give them,
you can't
and
go
not
nowhere.
even that though. Even if you just decide that you ain't even gonna fight the person, whatever,
Then
it turns
you
into a humiliation thing.
Right.
Like you get what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Like I feel bad for people that ain't, cause I got with it. But you get what I'm saying. But she acted like she wanted to fight. So I'm like, or if I'm like, it is what it is. I'm gonna just put the shit up. We gonna rumble. You feel me? But I'm telling her like, wait till they do their last round. She came down off her little high, but it took a while. But for a minute, this was the work. I never had nobody that keep going. Usually I fight and get it over with and we shut up and go. Or it be what it be. We just don't say nothing to each other. But she kept going, y'all, antagonize me. And I'm just like, man, I'm really just going to have to punch Shorty in her face. And I don't really want to. And I'm like, she's so big, y'all. So all I could think about was just pick your TV up and hit her with the TV because I'm this big. You feel me?
Right.
But, like, she was one of the worst people because, look, she didn't fight me, y'all. She tried to put me through a mental torment, like humiliate me when she see me, argue with me, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was, like, one of the worst. But other than that, it really wasn't about nothing. Anybody else that I really went through it with, like, I had chicks up there still to this day. They probably come home and really probably try to jump on me. You get what I'm saying? But it ain't nothing that I did to nobody. It'd be more so, like I said, it'd be like how the streets is jealous because they girl probably was sneaking writing me kites. Or, you know what I'm saying? And me personally, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got no attachment to you. I don't owe you nothing. So I was having fun. You know what I'm saying? I was doing me. I'm young. Okay, it is what it is. I was like a fag in a boy scene. It's not my fault. That's your chick. Get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had me a good time. But in the midst of that, it came with a bunch of drama. You know what I'm saying? But that probably was the worst person. Now, I didn't have, like I said, I got somebody right now. I ain't gonna say her name because, it is what it is. I ain't really giving Shorty no clout. But she's supposed to come home and she been locked up a good little while. She hate my guts. I don't know why. She see me. She hate the air I breathe. She's like alfalfa. She can't stand me. You know how alfalfa can't stand Darla? I hate your stinking gut. You know what I'm saying? That's how and that's a person that I feel like if she come home, I might gotta double check to make sure Shorty not going. You get what I'm saying? Because she hate me that bad. But that's just how it is. I done created enemies in prison, not because I'm a nut or I'm a sucker or I was a crumb, but because that's just how the game go. When I went to high school, it was the same way. You feel me? You take you wherever you go. So I don't trip about much. But yeah, it was a mess. It was like going to high school all over again.
What about that shorty that was doing the stuff with the inhaler, yo?
Oh yeah, man. Listen, so no, this crazy though. So then that was one of my craziest cellies too. I get a cellmate. She gotta be like 40. She get high. You can tell she already told me she smoke a little crack. She do her little wet hair. She shoot up here. You get what I'm saying? She do what she do. Cool. I ain't judging her. You feel me? I always was the person. You come in my room, we gonna have a good time. Cause I got stinger in this joint. I got onion, green pepper. You get what I'm saying? We gonna have us a ball. Whether you broke or rich, I'm gonna make sure you eat because you in here with me. You get what I'm saying? So she was cool on that tip all up until she asked me, You got asthma pump? So I said, yeah, what? You can't breathe? What, you short of breath? So you know me, I'm getting up off my bunk. Like, yeah, I'm about to get. She like, no, I'm about to show you what I'm gonna do with it. She squirts the asthma pump out on a metal table, squirts it a couple times. She let it dry up. She take her state ID and scrape it up.
And she snorted.
Hold on, I ain't done. What she do, Lou? She scraped it up, and after she scraped it up, she snorted it. Rolled up a piece of paper and snorted it. Was flying all around my room, cleaning the ceilings, cleaning this, and the toilet. She was doing her thing, but I had to ask her. So why do you do that? She said it's like a upper high. It's like an uppity high.
What?
I said, all right.
How you know to squirt the inhaler out that just
They be
is going
doing. You
dry?
gotta remember, they be. What do they call them people? Y'all repeated offenders. They've been putting time in since I was born. You know what I'm saying? Like these people that I be meeting up there, they be like old, just.
Old inmate game, bro.
Yeah, like, but listen, if you listen to half of them talk, they really be giving you the game and giving you the sauce so you could go ahead and get up out of there and don't come back because they know they can't stop coming back. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones they let home because they're going to continue to make their money off of them. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas a person like me, I wasn't mad at them. Oh, y'all gave me a year hit. Go ahead and get that. Go ahead and get this 5 out because y'all done after this. I'm not gonna be a returning one. You get what I'm saying? So they know how to. Listen, the system is set up, y'all, in its own spooky way. Listen to me. So they have their system where you could have been my cellmate last week. You back again this week, but they gonna let you leave next week. But they only letting you leave because they know either you gonna kill yourself off this drug you doing. Or you gonna come back because you didn't hurt somebody for that drug, or you didn't got caught with the drug. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas you meet people that never been to prison before, they young as me, might be their first time, whatever the case may be. Depending on the way that they carry things throughout their bid, you'll be able to tell, like, hold up, this person is not cut for this. They come from something a little different. They probably come from some good stock. You get what I'm saying? Because, like I said, like it is on the street, y'all. I met people up there. I might walk by your cell. You in the bed every time I walk by your cell. They call mainline movement. It's school time. It's time to chase a check. I don't care if it's 19 cent or not. What's up? You feel me? Right. So you meet a lot of different people. Like I met somebody that put their baby in a microwave.
Oh man.
You feel me? Killed their baby, cooked their baby, put them in the microwave, made them in spaghetti, put their baby in spaghetti, fed it to her husband. You feel me? Like I don't know. Like I met a lot of different people, y'all.
No, talk to me a little bit about being locked up during COVID. And some of the conditions they had y'all in up there.
All right, let me just say this. Being locked down in the prison, period, ain't it. First and foremost, you're not washing up. That's the first thing. You get what I'm saying? The first thing we care, like me and my folks care about, we want to wash up and jump on the phone. You're not washing up. So the first time that the COVID started, when we first started hearing about COVID, keep in mind, y'all, I'm in a program. They got me in a program. And the program is an inpatient program. It's a drug program that they use for people with criminal and addictive behavior. This is what they said, when they do your evaluation, this is what they said about me. Cool. I go to the program, we in there. I'm about to graduate the program. My graduation gets held up and I can't move off the block now. Why? Something about y'all gotta wear masks, it's COVID, yada yada, and it hit the prison bad. When I tell you bad. We are stuck on blocks, stuck on units. For weeks and weeks at a time, they feeding us food through a door. We not using the phone. We not washing up. We washing up at our sinks in our bedrooms. For a while, it was like this, washing up at the sinks at our bedroom. Then it'd be times where they would put up a schedule and they would let us out by cohorts. But keep in mind, sometimes I'm on a block with 64 cells. It's 2 people in each cell. Mm-hmm. Y'all doing cohorts. That means 4 cells at a time. 4 cells at a time downstairs. 4 cells at a time upstairs. So this is going on, right? But by the time these people clock out for the next shift to come, they not washing the rest of us up. So we them. You get what I'm saying? Like, you not using the phone. You not getting no air. They didn't have no rec for us at one point in time.
So how you washing up?
In your room, at the sink. And if you don't have no sink in your room, I don't know. But everybody got sinks for the most part. But you washing up at your sink with your celly in there, you got a bum. Like it was, I don't know if y'all remember when it was like this big thing with the drugs. Y'all remember when the jails was locked down for the drug lockdown? We was locked down for like 16 days or whatever. We wasn't washing up. I had a tote like this big. It's probably like this deep. I filled it up with water, washed up in there. We put sheets up so I can have my little privacy curtain and all that. I washed it out with some bleach. Let my celly go ahead and use it. She did it too. So you make a way out of no way. If I like,
how the hell you fit in that joint?
Well, it's like this big. Set in that joint like this. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yo.
She like she
I
gonna
even
make
like
it work.
all jokes aside, y'all. I had some of the best food in prison too, cooking on my stinger. Like people think I'm crazy. I told Sasha, I'm like, we gonna have a block party. I'm making a stinger, and I'm cooking outside on the stinger. They're like, what? Yeah, I done made. Listen to me. I done things that I never thought I could do. Y'all, I done made strombolis with my bare hands from Ritz crackers. You get what I'm saying?
We got to change the mentality about stuff.
But no, just hear me out though. The things that people was surviving off in prison,
Yeah.
I didn't have to survive. I had the luxury of. I worked in the kitchen. I had produce. I had it. You get what I'm saying? So my point of saying that is, yeah, my bed was because I had kids, but my bed was comfortable. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I didn't have days where I couldn't pick the phone up and dial out. I ain't had days where they was calling commissary and I ain't had no yellow bed. You get what I'm saying? My bed was okay. I missed out here. I missed the kids. But my bed was alright. I learned to survive. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, the child hall food is so horrible, y'all. Like Sundays, you want to go and get the chicken. You feel me? Chicken Sunday. Sunday morning, you want to go get the eggs and the grits. Wednesday morning, you want them eggs and the grits. Other than that, you don't want anything out of there. You want the produce and stuff. Of course, we robbed them blind. The produce, the butter, all of that kind of stuff. But I had to, make it. I was like, Lou, what's Snoop Dogg best friend name? What's that lady name, y'all?
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart, man. That was my situation. I made the best out of it. But keep in mind, I say that to say that going through all of that, right? I still made a way to survive. I still made a way through. I still made a way out. So me saying all of this to y'all today, don't think that I'm not working on myself, and don't think that I'm looking for something other than a fact. Y'all just listening. Y'all hearing me. You get what I'm saying? Y'all really sitting here asking me questions. Y'all in tune. This is enough for me. I'm grateful just for that because we don't know who might can benefit off of this. You know what I mean? Right. In any way.
And with that being said, just talk about some of your challenges finding work, with a record. And even talk about people reaching out to you because they're motivated by you doing it.
I know, man. That's crazy. A lot of people really love me. People I don't even know. Like, seriously, right, Lou? I was telling Lou, people be reaching out to me, y'all, from Trenton, all types of stuff. But, all right, so when I first came home, right? I came home February 25th, 2021. Day after my birthday or whatever, right? Come home. My mom tells me, my mom's asked me, you want a job? So I'm like, yeah. She ended up introducing me to some folk that I already knew of a little bit from upstate or whatever. They opened up a pizza shop called Down North. My first job when I come home. So, and they pizza so good. Y'all had their pizza? No. Oh, y'all got to go to your right. So, I started working at Down North or whatever. And that was my first job under the table, $15 an hour. Eventually, of course, I wanted bigger. I wanted better. I wanted pay stubs. I'm trying to move, stuff like that, right? So I ended up getting my second job. My second job was at a hotel. Yeah, my second job was at a hotel. And that was my first. Now, this is my first real job for being like with my checks and all that. So I started working at the hotel. Hotel ended up shutting down because they remember that storm like Ida or something like that? Yeah, they had a real bad leak inside of it, so they shut down. So I lost the job. When I lost the job, I was so devastated. I'm like, oh my God, my first real job, like nobody's going to hire me. What am I going to do? I just was crying, the whole nine. Somebody tells me like, won't you try Keystone Quality Transport? I tried Keystone Quality Transport. I got hired. I loved it there. I was about to start the EMT school. They pay for you to go to school for free or whatever. Don't you know they get a new person in HR, they let me go. The insurance company that they had got didn't cover for, me to drive their vehicles. So I lost Keystone. After Keystone, I wound up working and being like a behavioral specialist. I get a tech. I quit that. After that, what was after that? Now Hertz. I work at Hertz. But the journey, the process of all of that is not as easy as it seems. Oh my God. So going through all of that, I've had numerous interviews. I have explained to people on numerous occasions. I have became transparent to numerous people that have not even gave me a job. Right. But this is the things that I had to go through, right? Opening up, being honest, because I try to tell people all the time, that's the first thing. Rule number one, when you going into these places and you have a background, be honest, because at the end of the day, when they done their background check, they're going to see it. You got a better chance of being honest and them saying, because I didn't have people that said I'm not even doing a background check. You understand me? Because I kept it so real.
Right.
You had people that say I'm not even going to do that part. Don't even worry about it. So I try to tell people all the time, just be honest. But that's what I live off, being honest, right? So I didn't went in jobs, y'all, and literally opened up, told these people my business. You get what I'm saying? Just to have these people say no. You feel me? So that alone was a challenge in itself.
Right.
Every time I meet somebody new, I gotta be transparent. I gotta tell you, you get what I'm saying? But these are the risks and the chances you have to take because of what's the odds that's stacked against you. You understand what I'm saying? But when I came home, y'all, I wasn't given any resources. My parole officer didn't have nothing to give me. You understand what I'm saying? And that's no shade to my parole officer, but I'm just being honest. They don't have the things that we need. You understand what I'm saying? And my big thing was, I wish while I was incarcerated, I paid a little bit more attention to those reentry programs. You understand what I'm saying? Because it probably was something in those little packets that meant nothing that I probably could have took something from each. I probably could have took something from every packet and made it into my own plan. You understand what I'm saying? But the challenge of trying to find a job is very hard, very defeating. It was times that I got told no, and I couldn't even call and tell, my friends, my loved ones and stuff yet because I had to process it. You get what I'm saying? Because I guess that answer of no for so many times for it to become redundant is overwhelming. You get what I'm saying? So to hear these people keep telling me no, and I'm like, they don't even know. Like this is the stuff that I'm saying. Like, yo, I'm an asset. I'm not a liability. Like, yo, I got it in me. Like, my drive is there. I used to work for 19 cents a day. It's nothing out here I could go work at McDonald's right now. Yo, I would work at McDonald's with pride. I'm gonna flip the burger. I'm gonna come to the drive. I'm gonna treat you with respect. I'm gonna treat it like a place of business because now versus when I was younger, you get what I'm saying?
Appreciation different.
It's different. The things that I cherish is different. The way that I view situations, like, listen, I used to always think I used to think everything was so bad. If something negative happened to me, I never felt nothing good out of it. So that's what I had to do in this situation, find something good out of all my no's. Because literally I had so many people tell me no. And I'm just like, yo, they don't even know what's in me. But your laws. That's the kind of attitude I had to have after a while because every time I got told no, I was falling flat on my face. Why you falling flat on your face? You've been through worse than this. You get what I'm saying? So now it's like, me personally, I just encourage everybody to keep trying. You get what I'm saying? Because granted, 1,000 people told me no, I'm on my second job. And I'm working both of them when it's time. You get what I'm saying? Right. And, my second job now, I feel like I'm moving up in the ranks. I'm about to be in a hospital. You get what I'm saying? So, and I can make a career out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's like it gave me a little peace of mind. Remember I told y'all about that comfort I can't get, that peace I can't get because I feel like I need my children. I need this, I need that, right? That gave me a little bit because I know this the ticket to it all. This $17.51 an hour. I'm making 15 at the other one. I put that together. I'm getting paid every week here, every 2 weeks here. Oh yeah, it's lit. It's on. You get what I'm saying? Right. But this is the kind of mindset that I have. You get what I'm saying? What about the people that don't have that? You got some people that come out here, they don't have family. You get what I'm saying? They don't have people to support them. They throwing us out here as parolees. If you don't got nobody that love you, I'm dead serious. You done out here.
Right. Well, because how you going to eat? How you going to find?
No lie, I didn't have a job for months at a time. I'm not lying to you. I had to call Sasha and them to feed me. My family, I need money in my pocket. To get around, to go here, to do this, to even get to go see my appeal. I need money. You get what I'm saying? So it was times where I had to fall back on my loved ones. And what if you don't have it though? What if you don't have it? So that's why every day, like, yeah, it's about my kids. You feel me? It's about the betterment of my children, everything that I do today. But I have a purpose. I have a motive. Like, I got to put myself in a position because I got to help everybody that's in this same situation. Even if I can't help everybody, I can help at least 2 people and I'll be cool with it a day. You get what I'm saying? Even if it's one a day. But I've met, just on this journey right now since I've been home, y'all, I met so many people, young girls that's going through the same thing I'm going through, faced with the same trials and tribulations, and really just don't have nobody to point them in the right direction. And I tell people all the time, I didn't either. I had to do my own homework, Googling and all. They be like, yo, you always on Google. Man, listen, I Google everything because 9 times out of 10, I know, everything not true on Google. But for the most part, the things that's black and white that you need is going to be there. You get what I'm saying? Well, so I use that, but I say over the last week I helped somebody, and she real grateful. I pointed her into the direction of this temp agency. The temp agency gets you in the hospitals and stuff like that. I didn't go through the temp agency because I went straight through the hospital, but a guy had ended up calling me for a job from the temp agency, and I had explained to him, I couldn't accept the offer because I had another job, and then I got hired at the other job. And we talked for a little bit. I don't know. I just felt like, damn, this probably was meant to happen this way. Because me and the guy, we sat on the phone, we talked for a little while. And I actually had asked him, like, well, even though I can't, would you be willing and okay if I sent people to you? You get what I'm saying? That I know for a fact that do have a background and they don't know that y'all will hire because they might Google and ask, oh, do this person hire fellas? And it might not tell you because I had a lot of places do that too. It won't tell you. Right. And they do, but they don't tell you for whatever reason. I guess you just got to try your luck. You get what I'm saying? But I hope this girl, she went and took her P test today, her drug test for the job and all that kind of stuff. And she was just so grateful. And the feeling that came with all of that was different for me. You know what I mean? I felt like I accomplished something big. Like, I don't know. So
you're going to be out here helping everybody with a record, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just, I'm just trying to become resourceful. Like, that's really it because I know, how hard it is. So.
Oh man, we want to thank you for coming to do the show.
Yes, I thank you guys for having me.
We definitely appreciate
I'm so
change
happy.
Somebody's life.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man.
I think it's such an unlikely story, right? Like the story and like a population of people that we probably don't even think of. You know what I mean? Like we don't think of women in your situation. You know what I mean? So like I think it's such a positive thing. I think you're on a great track. I want to every time I talk to you, I'm always trying to motivate you to keep going.
Yes, and you do. Thanks for that.
You know, so I want to thank y'all for tuning in to More Than a Dad. I hope y'all enjoyed that story.
Yes.
And hopefully she'll come back and give us some more.
Yes, I'll come whenever y'all want me to. I love it here. Yeah.
All right. Until next time.
All right.
Join the More Than a Dad family by following us on Instagram, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to join our Facebook group for daily questions, motivation, dad jokes, and new dad tips. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Be sure to like, comment, and share our content with other parents. Last but not least, make sure you check out our new merch. The link is in the bio of our Instagram as well as the description of this YouTube video. We are truly grateful, and thanks for supporting More Than a Dad.
More than a dad. More than a dad.